Bill, Ray.
Okay, we're on.
All right,
Robert.
it is 7 o'clock on September 24th. So this is the Budget Committee meeting. Call it to order, I guess. Shall we rise and pledge allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. With that, public input. Everybody's out getting ready for some football, I guess. I don't hear anybody coming. All right. Are there any review or additions to the agenda? Anybody have anything they want to add? No? All right. We have a quorum, so did we have enough people looking at the minutes? Any, any additions?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of
August 27th.
August 27th.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All good. Well done. All right. So in correspondence we had a few things from Mr. Byron relative to state budgeting and agreements. You were CC'd on those emails, correct?
Was it?
The
No, I
emails?
wasn't.
Well, I will make sure that you get those.
Okay.
You want the hard copies? Do you need those?
If you don't need them, after you read them.
I read them and tried to understand.
Then you don't
them.
have to CC me.
All right, perfect. And then what just went out was look at that.
Look at that.
Hey, Ray.
Greetings, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Not a problem. We had a quorum already, so it didn't matter too much.
Just barely.
Let the minutes show that Mr. Peoples came in late.
Yeah.
You should have it. I could take you off the absence list.
Thank
There you
you.
go. And then before the meeting, we sent out the estimated enrollment numbers, which won't be finalized until another 2 weeks, but it gives us an idea of where we are. Did everybody, so that's our correspondence. Reports, we start with the town?
Well, let's start with the school.
Start with the school. That should be pretty quick.
Okay.
Good idea.
Going on to the town,
See them, Ray.
just a couple things. I announced this last meeting that we had hired a town administrator, Mr. Troy Brown. He started a week ago or something like that, day after, I think, the last meeting that we had. Troy had a conflict. He would have been here tonight, but he had a conflict, so he could not make it, but he intends to introduce himself. So if you guys are at Town Hall and wish to meet him before, that's more than welcome to step in and say hello and whatever you need. A couple other things. There's not a lot going on in the budget. I mean, it's the same old stuff. The budget's doing okay. There is nothing that is out of whack except for the highway department, but then again, we all knew that, and that was based upon last winter's snowstorm. One thing that did just come up is that today, the engine in the highway department pickup truck decided to exit stage left. And we went and received a quote from the Ford dealership that we usually use for maintenance and stuff up here in Manchester. What is it, Gladstone, I think it's called? It's right up on 102.
Oh, no. Oh, in Londonderry, you mean?
Yeah, Londonderry.
Yeah, Londonderry Ford.
So Londonderry
Yeah.
Ford. They gave us a quote of $11,000, so that's to replace the engine into a body that's something like 9 years old or something along that
Is it
line.
diesel?
No, it's V8 gas,
Gas engine for 11,000?
yeah. That's what I was told today. I haven't seen the paperwork, nothing.
Wow.
So, just to let you know, we're gonna have to figure out what to do. So, we'll look at it. We haven't met. In fact, some members of the board may not even be aware of this as of yet, so we'll figure out what we're gonna do probably Monday night. A couple other things, the town, in 2013, the legislature put in place House Bill 342, which required municipalities to report the working hours of all retired employees. because there's a 32-hour limit on that. I was involved in the negotiations of that bill. And we put in place, at the request of the New Hampshire retirement system, a penalty of $25 a day for failure to report the data to the state. Okay, now, we've been reporting all the data to the state, but what we did is we made a mistake and we transposed some numbers actually in the database. So now they've come back and said that we owe them about $3,400 worth of back penalties. So we are going forward and appealing that. As a state rep, I wrote a letter because, again, I was involved in the negotiation of that. The penalty is supposed to apply to towns that basically don't want to cooperate with the state and getting the data there. But it's ridiculous to try and have it apply. I've also filed a bill to correct this whole situation so that it will not apply to towns who inadvertently make a mistake in their data reporting. But the state has interpreted it, at least the New Hampshire retirement system has interpreted that
Reporting and being wrong is the same as not reporting?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I agree with you 1,000%. So I'm gonna try and get it fixed. And the town has 30 days to appeal. I've written a letter as a state rep on behalf of the town, and sent that to the New Hampshire retirement system. Or actually sent it to the town finance department so that they can use that for appealing to the New Hampshire retirement system. My expectation is, but I can't guarantee anything, but they should waive the results, I would hope. Common sense, I hope, prevails on this one, but we'll see. So that's it. That was a result of an audit that was done by the New Hampshire retirement system where they went back and looked at, I think, something like 8 months or more of data that the town had, and they found this one mistake in the data. And they decided that because it was made back in March, or I don't know what the date was, but because it was made that long ago, it racked up this much in fines. So we'll see what happens, but that's just to give you the heads up on it. Library has applied to the Board of Selectmen to request that we provide them with money so that they can bring their people onto the town salary grid that we put together a couple of years ago. The selectmen looked at this and basically said that the salary grid is for the town employees, and it's up to the trustees of the library if they want to adopt it or not. And if they want to adopt it, they should have put it in their budget. There was some concerns expressed by the library trustees as well as the librarian about that. So we have asked them to meet with the town administrator to look over everything. The amount of money that they were requesting was actually more than the town requested, so it just didn't make a lot of sense to us, and we wanted to study it. But that's no resolution on it, we're just looking at it.
But they're meant to stand on their own anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
That's- In the old days, you could have done that, but when they wanted it the way it is, they live with it.
That was a comment, but I wasn't
Yeah.
I wasn't popular for, for bringing that point up, but.
Well, I don't think any of us will be, but that's ultimately the truth. We have no control over their budget, so,
Well, the Budget Committee does, the Board of Selectmen.
yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about that control, it's,
No, the Budget Committee has full
Yeah.
control,
Frank's complete, correct.
but the Board of Selectmen basically,
You have no control.
we have no control. In fact, we just pass it through. I mean, we don't see detail, we just see a total bottom line number, and we pass it through the Budget Committee. That's really something the Budget Committee has to dig into if they want more detail on it. It didn't used to be that way. We used to, but we were advised by council many, many, many years ago that they needed to stand on their own, and I guess it's a quirk in the state law from what I understand, so be it. What else? Anything else? I don't think there's much else. That's really about all that's going on right now.
Have you heard anything more up at the State House about the bills we talked about last meeting? The study committee on,
No, I have not.
okay.
No, I have not. I have not heard anything in terms of the study committee and what they're gonna do.
Okay.
I did pass on to this budget committee. I think I did it during the meeting the last
Yes, you did,
time. the response I got from one of the members of that committee, but I haven't heard anything. I can follow up. With that member, see where it's gone. The only other thing I guess I can say from a state perspective is that the state budget is now approved. We're no longer on a continuing resolution, and everything's going forward as originally the legislature deemed. The only change was that the Senate Bill 9, which was an additional bill that was brought on to take and handle the negotiation points, included the raises for the state employees. So that's the only change or one of the more significant changes that happened. But that change for the state employees was paid for out of the money that was saved when we were under the continuing resolution, which was back from July 1st to last week, or a couple of weeks or so.
So the business profits tax reduction and stuff like that all held in the budget?
In fact, as a result of the negotiations, the business profit tax and the business enterprise tax actually accelerate downward faster than what we had originally put into the budget. What's going on is that the governor, in her negotiations, wanted to see a tripwire in there so that those deductions would only take effect when the certain amounts of revenue were hit. What ended up happening is we had the chairman of Ways and Means go over that, a guy named Norm Major who resides over in Plastow. And he and the people looked through that, and they feel absolutely 100% confident we will hit that tripwire that will drop those taxes on businesses.
That's awesome. That's a real windfall for the state and
Yeah.
all the communities, including ours.
We got to do something, yeah. Have not heard anything further on the issue of the meals and rooms tax. I think I brought up at the last meeting. So I'm still waiting to hear some information on that. I was actually talking to one of the state senators about that, who was the person serving on the committee, and she didn't have any more details at that meeting that I talked to her at, which was like a week and a half ago. So,
Frank, do you recall what the final outcome was on state education aid?
yeah, I think I sent that in an email to everyone, so everybody on the budget committee should have gotten a copy of it. And that was a talking point, so it should be in there. I think everybody's supposed to get, what is it, 94%, if I'm not mistaken? Something like that, or 96%
What they got last year?
right. And then the towns that were being shortchanged, like Bedford as an
Yeah.
example, were supposed to get their,
Some more.
yeah.
So we've got a cap on how much of a hit we'll be taking.
Yeah.
We'll be taking a hit of some sort.
Yeah, it's 96%.
96%, right. So we'll get 96% of what was due us. If I'm not mistaken,
The adequacy funding cap is removed in 2018, though.
yeah. So you're gonna have to watch the adequacy funding cap when you get to that budget, because that's gonna go away, that'll have a significant impact. I think, isn't adequacy, if I'm not mistaken, like 700,000 or something like that?
Don't remember the number.
It's pretty high, remember, it's not low, so.
Thank you.
Frank, as far as, do we have to go to a Ford dealership to get the quotes for the maintenance?
No, we can go pretty much anywhere.
Okay, I mean.
But the question, the board hasn't even met on this, so
Okay.
I'm just telling you what I
Yeah,
know
no,
right now.
I'm sure that's the first place to start, but that's
But,
pretty high.
The other question to ask is, do we want to put a brand-new engine into
True.
a
I agree.
9-year-old
True.
vehicle that's,
I'm just impressed with the $11,000 price tag. I think you can buy a Corvette engine for that kind of money. Unless you
well,
want to
that's
plow snow
what
faster.
Jack wanted in there. And he was getting the baby moon wheels, and he's got the fuzzy dice.
This is cool. So, anything else on the town/state side? We need to give you a new, bullet for state updates.
Whatever, that's fine.
I had something.
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank Frank for keeping us on board on what was going on up in Concord. You're the only state rep that's done it, okay? And really appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome. Not a problem.
Yeah, those emails are great. When you mail that out, that's awesome, because you don't always get a chance to go out and look.
There's one that just came in today, I just haven't had a chance to look through it yet. There hasn't been much going on right now at the state level. The bills are starting to now trickle through the system, so we'll start to get more and more of it. One of the things I've got to do is look at what's called the LSRs. Those are legislative service requests. Those are bills that are waiting to be drafted, and what happens is you can find out the general title of the bill, so I can look up and see if there's anything that's dealing with the school or municipalities and sort those out, and if we can get that information out there. Usually the school is interested in it because some of the changes that are proposed are pretty significant, so. I will say, by the way, on education, there was a increase in charter school funding, significant increase in charter school funding, so that's a big plus.
They were due.
Oh, yeah. You're only getting, I think, 1,500 a student. If I remember it now, it's much more than that, if I'm not mistaken, on the numbers.
All right, so anything else on that? And I guess we can't really discuss school business unless anybody knows anything. All right, so on to new business. Any new business anybody like to discuss? We can work around the table if you want.
One thing I did forget,
All
which
right.
is town-related, I'm sorry,
No
is, I have a question first, and did the Budget Committee put out a schedule as to what budgets and what sequence you wanted them in? I don't recollect that.
I haven't seen any.
No,
So,
we had the proposed one from
yeah, from,
way back when.
You're talking about the town, huh?
yeah,
The
town
town, I
side.
think we were hoping to get yours like in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
to
so
review, and then
what
when-
we're gonna be doing is a couple budgets that we're gonna need some work on. But we're gonna give you guys a whole chunk of them, and we'll probably do that after Monday's meeting, once we go through them and get them moved on. There's a bunch of them that aren't changing,
Right.
at all or significantly.
Do we pick, or do you guys set?
It's up to
It's usually
whatever.
the
It's
chair
kind of
and,
it's kind of a joint effort, just to make sure that we can, what you try and do is spread out the big ones like police, fire,
You don't want
highway,
to,
stuff
do
like
it on
that.
11:30 night, I gotcha.
So, we're gonna send them, and you guys can take them in any order you want or anything.
Okay.
And the other question I wanted to ask is, do you want a general presentation on the budget in terms of the thought process or what's going into it? Or do you want to just receive them and then you spend and do whatever you want with them?
Discussion?
like the 90,000-foot view, at least so that we know
You wanna know what-
holistically what to expect for the whole.
You want to know what the changes are, type thing?
It also
In other
helps-
words, here's the big top
Helps
changes.
to understand the priorities when you're
Okay.
budgeting too.
So we have a meeting next Thursday. Are we beginning to review budgets next Thursday, or are we not
Supposed
meeting
to
next Thursday?
Is it next Thursday or 2 weeks?
Next Thursday.
It is next Thursday.
Hmm.
It's a good thing I blocked off.
On my
every Thursday.
calendar.
October 1st.
Well,
You're probably
I know,
right.
I
No, I'm sure
blocked
you're
off
right.
every Thursday from
No,
now
'cause
until
my
like
question
mid-January,
is,
so.
we won't really have anything to review by
I
next
think next
Thursday,
Thursday,
will
we
we?
receive it, and they could do the overview then, when they present, when they give us the.
We can put together a synopsis of what the big changes are that we see coming in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys can look at whatever you want to do. I mean, we'll give you, a chunk of what the town budget's going to be. The sum of it'll come a week or two after.
Right.
But
Yeah, I don't think we'll be ready, we won't be ready to discuss it, but we could be ready for them to walk us through their thought process and putting it together.
You would be ready for that by next Thursday?
If they're ready. If they're not, then.
I mean, for that, what you just said, or the weekend after that?
Well, my understanding is, maybe I'm wrong, let me rephrase what I thought I heard. We're gonna give you a chunk of these after this next meeting the selectmen have, because we're gonna go through a
Right.
bunch of these.
Okay.
That's Monday.
That's Monday. We'll give you an outline of what we think the big changes that we're seeing in the budget are.
Okay.
And then, if you want to review a couple of those, you need to either let us know to bring a department head, or if you're comfortable, then the town administrator and I can handle them. It's up to you guys. Some of them you may be able to knock off, like, for example, debt service is $1.
yeah.
I mean,
I know we have to wait a week before we vote on that one, Frank.
yeah, you can handle it however you want, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday sometime, we'll get what you worked on Monday night emailed
Maybe
to us.
Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah, whatever. We'll try and get it to you in those 2 days.
Okay.
We'll get you a chunk of them.
Yeah, so I think even still, go ahead, Bill.
Paper copy, please.
Yeah, me too, please.
Yes, me too,
All around.
please.
Okay?
And
I'm
me,
sure that will up the,
and me too.
I'm sure that will up the budget a little bit.
Because some of these will be available online as well, so.
That was handy, but it's also, I'm tired of ordering ink every so often. So, yes.
Have the selectmen had any discussions yet about other warrant articles, like budget cap?
No, I mean, the budget cap is, there's no discussion we need to have. I mean, the citizens voted that they wanted us to bring forward a budget cap.
Yeah.
The warrant article is specified in the RSA as to what you have to write.
Yeah.
The only variable in there is what percentage you go forward with.
Yeah.
But if I was a betting man,
And that's
I
the
would
discussion
suspect,
I was asking
Minus one would
about.
be nice.
I would suspect that that could be something that would be modified at the deliberative, or could be modified anywhere. I mean,
But the selectmen have to come up with the
the
initial
number,
number,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
There'll be a number put down, I don't know what it'll be, I have a guess, but my point is, it took me this long to get it through the system, we'll see what happens.
Well, thank you for getting it through the system and following that through. So, any other issues? So we went back to town for that, right? Are we back to new business now?
Yeah.
All right, new business again. Anybody? Anything? This side of the table? All right.
I do have one thing not town-related.
Go ahead.
And that is just to let the budget committee know that commencing, commencing on the 30th of October until November 17th? Yeah, 17th, I will be out of the country. Just to give you a heads up. The selectmen, I'm sure, will appoint somebody to replace me, so.
All righty. So that was new business. Any member input, old business?
Once again, you did it.
I
You
did.
ran the meeting.
you-
Shortest one in history.
Will you be running next Thursdays also? Will Cindy be back?
Yes, I will be running next Thursdays.
Oh. That means it'll go to 8.
Well, it'll be one of the last short ones, I'm sure, since after that I tend to drag them out.
Yeah, I don't know why, it just seems like we should be chewing on this already somehow. And I know it's the same process every year, but it's like,
No, usually we have business at this meeting, but
Yeah.
there's really nothing. You know, we don't have the school to pick on, so.
Can I make sure that that gets entered into the minutes? Bill's, pick on.
pick on as in choosing. Here's the town, we'll pick you. No, here's the school, we'll pick you. That's exactly what you meant, Mr. Spencer.
It's all friendly, all social and cordial.
All friendly until the hand grenade goes off.
That's right. All right, so.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
We adjourned.